welcome to PHLY Flyers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name's Bill Matz. This is the Festivus show, the Festivus postgame. And a little bit of a bummer, I'm joined by Charlie O'Connor and Kelly Hinkle. We celebrated here tonight. We aired some grievances. And Sidney Crosby remained one of our major grievances.
We got time to air quite a few more grievances after this one, William.
We certainly do, gang. First of all, congratulations on getting another successful Festivus party.
Yeah, Kelly.
Still have some people hanging around, but this was a very much Crosby scores an empty netter.
Got the homies
and
back here.
And the fans head for the exits.
Yeah.
Understandable. 4-point night for him. Just what were your initial thoughts on tonight's game?
We went from we are so back the other day to we are back to being over. It is so over. This was kind of a stinky clunker of a game. I know we're going to get to him, but Sam Ersson. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, we got to have the conversation
We got to have a
about
conversation about Sam Ersson.
And it's been building to this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as if this is the first game he struggled in.
Nope.
As John Tortorella said, I believe it was after Saturday's game, the thing with Ersson has been that every game he needs to make one more save. This game, I would say he needed to make 2 more saves. But
Solid 2.
Point being is that there hasn't been a game since he's returned from injury where he hasn't given up at least one goal where you're like, not great. And this was a game where, number one, to me, it's not like all the goals are bad. Some of them were just breakdowns, whatever. But to me, it's 2 goals in particular that stick at me. The first goal, that's one where, again, it's a bomb of a shot. You got to find a way to stop it. You can't give up a goal that early in the game and let them seize the control of the contest that early. Then you give up a bunch the rest of the period. Rest of the first period doesn't go well. Team responds. They come out in the second. They're strong. They play well. You cut the lead to 1. You just need to get into the second intermission, down a goal. You can build off that. You can feel like, hey, we had a great period. All we need to do is get one good bounce, and boom, suddenly it's a tie game. Anybody's game. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the period. Another goal where I'm not going to go so far as to say it was a horrible goal. It's not a good goal, but it's a big shot. You know, guy, good placement. But what it comes down to is you need that save. You just no excuses. You need to find a way to make that save, and he didn't. And that's been the story of his play since his return from injury.
And also, while I would agree that every one of those first 4 goals wasn't on him entirely, it definitely felt like one of those games where you got to yank him pretty much immediately because you can see he doesn't really have it. Like, it's not like he doesn't look great, but also just one of those all right, you've given up 4 goals. We're yanking the goalie. We're going to try to shake things up a little bit, get going, boys. Like, one of those kind of moves. And Torts waits till the 3rd to put Kolosov in, and I don't really know if I understand that decision.
That's it. Really, this was a thing we talked about a lot last year with Ersson. When he didn't have it, you knew it right away.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to win, if you wanted to have a chance in the game,
you gotta pull.
You needed to just go, screw this. I don't care.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I have to do something that's maybe not even popular, or he's only given up 2. No, you just got to do it because you don't see he has it. And now you look at Sam Ersson's numbers recently. He gives up 5 goals on 14 shots through 40 minutes tonight. First of all, they held him to 14 shots through 40 minutes.
That's not bad.
It's almost really difficult. Like, you called it a clunker of a game, Kelly, and I wouldn't say the Flyers were like, they were so much better, but they just got let down by their goalie. They weren't great.
No.
But I think this is one of those games where you just go, it's impossible to evaluate everybody else because you gave up 5 goals on 14 shots.
Yeah.
And you had another erased by an offside review.
Yeah.
He allowed 6 goals.
Yeah.
That's too many.
That's too many.
I don't know what else to say about Ersson, but you look at what he's done recently. So tonight he puts up, I just had it. Where the hell did the box score go? Well, 5 goals on 14 shots. That is a .643 save percentage for Sam Ersson.
Not going to get it done.
Over the last couple of weeks, against Columbus, .840. Against Detroit, .783. Against Minnesota, 857. Against Columbus, 833. Against Utah, 840. It's been almost a month since he's had a game with a 900 save percentage.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not as if like he was awesome against San Jose. You know, it was just he was okay. He was okay in those couple of. Is the door opening? Not just for maybe Kolosov to get into that time split, maybe get half the starts, more than half. I've brought this up a few times. I don't know what their appetite is for it. At a certain point, why wouldn't you play Fedotov? What, because he's bad? Guess what? So are the other guys.
Well,
like, what are we doing here?
All I can tell you is the last practice, I straight up asked John Tortorella that question. And John Tortorella said, no. Ersson and Kolosov are our guys. We made the decision. Fedotov is the 3.
Then why aren't you sending down that other guy, John?
Well, it's a fair question. But all I'm saying, like, you can keep asking the question.
Yeah.
The answer is not going to change until they change the answer. Their view is that we've made our bet. Our bet is Ersson, Kolosov 1-2. Fedotov is the other guy. He'll be the other guy as long as they believe that they're sticking with these 2. Nothing else I can tell you.
Like, I understand wanting to give an extended, okay, we've named our 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Let's give them an extended run and see how it goes. But it's not just like we're getting mixed results or it's up and down.
No, it's been actively bad.
They're getting horrible goaltending.
Particularly from Ersson.
Sam Ersson is giving them I think they showed the graphic tonight, worst goals against in the league. Like, his goals above expected, horrible. Like, he is not just playing poorly. He is playing as bad as any goalie right now.
Yep.
And I don't understand. I know we're not going to get the answer to change because we want it to. They're the Flyers. They're going to do whatever.
Just telling you.
And Ivan Fedotov probably stinks too. It's just like, well, then what's the point of having him here?
Yeah, I don't quite. I understand that a couple of weeks ago we made our determination. Ersson 1, Kolosov 2, Fedotov 3. I understand that. But, like, your data points have changed, I feel like, over the last couple of weeks. And you made the choice at the freeze that you had to send Andrae down because you needed to have a roster spot just in case. At least that was one of the theories that people were kicking around.
It was part of it.
Well,
it wasn't the only part of it, but it was part of it.
Sure. But, like, if you're so out on Fedotov, if you're so 100% that these are your 1-2, then there's no reason to keep him up here unless you think someone's going to claim him, which no one's going to claim him. I'm getting a little frustrated because the carrying the 3 goaltenders thing made sense for a while you were using 3 goaltenders at least sometimes. And if we're never going to use Fedotov ever again, then he serves no purpose here other than clogging up a roster spot that would be better served with Emil Andrae. Because yet again, I don't know how, yet again another game where I think we could all agree that the outcome might have been a little bit better with Emil Andrae on the ice.
They could have used Emil Andrae. I will hold to that. Whether it would have changed the outcome or not, I don't know.
I don't know.
What I can tell you is it's not like they would have been worse if Andrae was in the game instead of Zamola. I guess Zamola did get a goal, so maybe they would have. Maybe they would have lost, 7-2.
So here's the thing. We talked about this a little bit on our last regular show, I think. That we all, collectively as Flyers fans, seem to have decided that Sam Ersson is good based on really just a half a season of good goaltending. And I was talking to someone here tonight during the game about this, and he kind of made a good point. That Ersson kind of started to blossom once there was really not a lot of pressure on him. Like, Hart was being Carter Hart, which meant that Ersson kind of knew, all right, this is my job, this is my net. I don't have to worry about who's going to take it from me, Cal Peterson? No, I know that this is my net now. I can relax, and I can play my hockey. He has pressure on him now from 2 guys. And I don't know if it's the injury, I don't know if it's mental, I don't know if it's this pressure, I don't know what it is. But something about him is not the same Sam Ersson that we saw last season.
Yeah, it was really was it November through January numbers where he put up that 930.
Yeah, it was great.
And I always wanted to see Sam Ersson get this opportunity because he looked really good when he forced his way into a time split last year. And then I respected the way he kind of just sucked it up, knowing what was going to happen to his numbers and playing every single night after Carter Hart is gone. I wasn't positive he was good. I'm pretty sure he's an NHL goalie. Maybe he just thrives in that backup timeshare situation. Like, the lack of pressure last year was, I can earn more time, but the franchise is kind of in Carter Hart's hands as long as he's here.
Right.
And as soon as he goes away, Ersson goes to hell. He hasn't really rebounded.
We got another month of him being.
We got a couple of weeks.
I would say he was good through the end of February into early March.
Okay.
And then he got rounded into the ground. He started playing like crap.
Okay.
To me, it feels like his
Post
ceiling is.
All-Star.
His ceiling to me feels like a 1B. Like, that's the max you could get out of him is if he's in a tandem situation in which he's the 40% guy, not the 60% guy.
Maybe. And you know what? I know no one wants to hear this after a game like that. It's it's the game before Christmas. There's a big break. It's the Penguins, so everybody's ticked off because they lost. I get it.
Yeah.
This is all information you're gathering.
Yeah.
The Flyers are in information gathering mode more than anything. Do they want to make the playoffs? Of course they do. Now, the sending down of Emil Andrae leads you to wonder how much they actually do want to make the playoffs. But I do believe in an ideal world they would like to sneak into the playoffs, get guys some playoff experience, get the fans excited because, hey, we're on the right track. But more than anything else, this is an information gathering season. They're developing Matvei Michkov. We'll get to him later. They are trying to figure out what they have in their young guys. Sam Ersson is one of their youngish guys. Maybe this is something you just had to learn. And I think one of the reasons why both you and Kelly are so frustrated with the continued play of Yegor Zamula, and by play I mean the fact that he is playing, is that you look at it as we learned what he was last year. All of this is kind of just wasting our time because he is what he is. He's a passable third-pair defenseman. He's not going to be any better. Why is he in the lineup over Emil Andrae? I don't think going into this year we yet knew what Sam Ersson is. And I don't think we know yet. But I do think that now we are nearly halfway through a season where he has not been very good. And this is information.
Yeah.
Maybe we are learning that he's just not very good. And I would rather know that for... You're never going to know anything for certain, but I'd rather know that for mostly certain than just give up on him because, you have a hunch he stinks. These games don't matter that much overall, and if part of the fact-finding mission of the season is you find out he stinks, and then you know that he can't be a number one, that maybe his ceiling is 1B, maybe he's just not that good, period. These are all legitimately important pieces of information you learn because then it tells you, he's not the answer. Kolosov, maybe he's the next guy we have to figure out if he's the answer before Carson Bjarnason and Negros of Ragan get here, and then we see if they can be the answer. But there is value in finding out that it's not Sam Ersson, if that's what we're finding out.
That's why I wanted to see him get this shot. I want to know. I don't know. I have no idea. And
I don't know either.
The circumstances of last year were so odd that I was like, I think there's something there, and I want to see. And now I just think we're seeing... And no, we don't know for certain. And listen, you can look to, we don't even have to go that far back. We're not talking Justin Williams, Patrick Sharp stuff. You can look in the league right now. Anthony Stolarz, Alex Lyon, guys who maybe we just didn't gather enough information on. And it's like, I'd like them right now.
Yeah.
They'd be fine in a backup role or a 1B role or whatever. I want to know about Ersson, and it's fine. If this is the way it's going, can we also... maybe he only starts half the games, and we figure out other stuff along the way as well, not just him, because this is pretty consistent now. We have a lot of information. Now you can talk about the workload last year, and now he's coming back from injury, but the injury is part of this.
Yeah, it is.
Part of his season this year
100%.
is he stunk for most of it, and he got hurt twice.
Yep.
That's not a goalie I'm really all that interested in investing a ton of time in.
If you're going to trust the guy to be your starter, you have to trust that he's going to stay healthy.
Yes.
That's part of the importance of being a number one is that can you play 55 games a year? Now, some guys can do that well. Some guys can play their 35 games a year real well, and it's not even necessarily because they can't take the workload and stay good. Is that they can't take the workload and not get hurt. And
no, Michael Neuvert, he was real good.
Yeah,
couldn't play though.
When he played,
couldn't play
he was good, but he often got hurt to the point where you couldn't trust him.
Yeah.
I guess all I'm saying is that I get the frustration now, but I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing if you just find out. Because, like, you named a bunch of guys. You named Solars, you named Lyon, you named Patrick Sharp, Justin Williams. Justin Williams is maybe the only guy who, like, they did get a long look at. His big problem was he kept getting hurt. And then they traded him, and then he miraculously became, like, an Iron Man, which, like, you know what? Sure. Shit happens. But Sharp is a classic example of a guy they didn't give enough time to.
Yeah.
They did not get a large enough sample to give a meaningful a meaningful evaluation of what he was. They traded him first, then he became a borderline star elsewhere. I think you're giving Ersson a pretty big sample so that if you do at the end of the season or the end of next season or whatever decide to trade him or whatever, you can at least feel like you gave him a fair shot. And if he couldn't hack it, at least he couldn't hack it rather than you traded him away or you gave up on him and then he pulled a Stolars or a Lion and turned out to be real good elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm fine with giving him the opportunity this year. I just think it's trending in the direction of.
It is absolutely trending in that direction.
I think we're getting the answers.
Yeah.
We are.
Listen, maybe the next 5 games he has 3 shutouts and we're thinking something different.
He could turn it around. There's no reason to pull the plug on him.
No.
Because, like, if he turns it around, great. If he doesn't, they're going to lose a lot of games and pick in the top 10. Win-win.
We've long said the easiest tank is just throw a bad goalie in the net.
Yeah, it works every time.
They might have 2 or 3 not great goalies. Listen, I think Kolosov has something.
Mechanically,
I agree.
I think he looks like the best one.
Right now, he just really isn't ready.
No.
So he comes in to start the third tonight.
Right.
And honestly,
makes a monster save.
A huge save in the first 2-3 minutes of the period on a cross ice chance.
Good save.
He makes the first 6 saves, gives up a goal after he comes back in after the empty net goal Crosby scores.
Yeah.
But they're on the power play. Michkov got called for hooking or something.
Yeah, whatever.
It was right off the face-off.
It's barely a real goal.
It's not an NHL game at that point. It's just running out the clock, so whatever. Could this lead to at least a little more? It is very funny that it's like Kolosov ain't ready yet, but he might be our best goalie. Like, is that a thing that's happening right now to this team?
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. Like Charlie said, if this is a fact-finding mission, that's what we're doing here. We can't just collect information on Sam Ersson. We've got to collect information on these other 2 guys, too. And
especially Kolosov.
Especially Kolosov, because it would seem that he's the best of the... I mean...
Well, I'm not ready to say.
I know.
He's the youngest.
He's the youngest. Potentially the best of the 3 of them. He has the most room to grow into something more than he is now. I am not going to pretend I think that Ivan Fedotov is anything, but I don't think we know, and I don't think anybody else knows either, and that's why I wish he was at least playing in the AHL so that we could see him getting reps. Like, we could see what he is long-term as a goaltender. He hasn't gotten any kind of stretch of games at all. So even if it's in the AHL, I would like to be able to see what he has because we're collecting information. If Sam Ersson does in fact stink, if he is going forward an .830 goaltender, which would be hilarious, honestly, if that's the way it works out, then maybe we do need Ivan Fedotov as a backup next season. So might be good to have him play some games and see what's happening there. Because next season, I don't think we're going to get Carson Bjarnason. I think that's a little too soon.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Here's something, because I know, Kelly, I get your point. I get why you're frustrated with why is he just sitting here as the 3rd goalie.
Yeah.
We don't have an incredibly long track record from Danny Briere in terms of, what he does, what he doesn't do, what his tendencies are. But we do have a little bit of a track record from Danny Briere in terms of his what could be an emerging conservative nature about being worried about losing goalies on waivers.
Yeah.
Because the same thing happened last year. They spent the first 2 months of last year utterly terrified that they were going to lose Felix Sandstrom, a not that good goalie. on waivers, so they kept 3 goalies on their roster for way longer than they probably had to, because I'm sure part of it was that they worried about Carter Hart. They knew it was probably coming, so they're like, well, we need a goalie in case Hart has to go to jail or whatever, if something pops out and we have to deal with that. However, did they actually have to worry about anybody claiming Felix Sandstrom? I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. But
100% convinced no.
But here's the thing.
Did not.
We have a track record of Danny Briere being worried about that and being worried enough that he kept Sandstrom on the roster, presumably because he was afraid if he waived him, there was a chance he could get claimed. Now, a year later, we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing a guy, Fedotov, where you think to yourself, there's no way anybody's claiming
a boatload of money.
A 28-year-old with an over $3 million a year cap hit and another year left on his deal. There's no way.
That's played like 5 games.
But I go back to what John Tortorella said last week. When we asked John Tortorella, we're talking about the goalie situation, about when is the line? When do you have to make a decision on Fedotov? And he said, look, here's the thing. You don't want to make a decision that you regret later on. And I read that to mean they are worried that someone will claim him. Now, I agree with you that I think it is, I won't go so far as to say crazy, but I think it is a stretch to think that someone is going to claim him. But I think that this may be a one particular area where Danny Briere is very conservative. He is worried that people are going to claim his goalies, so he's going to keep them up for longer than maybe he has to because he's real worried about it. I'm just saying, this is not a one-time thing. This is now a pattern of 2 goalies that he's kept up. He's kept 3 goalies in his major league roster for longer than you think because he seems irrationally worried that one of them might get claimed.
I just
say.
I see the point of it. It's just last year they eventually did send Felix Sandstrom down.
Eventually, and I think they will eventually send Fedotov down.
It was after they were worried about Tampa. Vasilevsky was out, and Tampa was just searching anywhere for a goalie. They were hanging out at men's leagues games. Like, anyone need a job? Like,
who among us?
And then Vasilevsky came back, and it was sorted out. And all right, well, the threat is gone. Colorado was the threat. They have 2 goalies now. I just don't see it as a realistic possibility.
Bill, I would waive him in a second because my view of the situation is this. And I guess I will express my view as to why I would waive Ivan Fedotov. My thing is, number 1, I don't think he's going to get claimed. Number 2, if he gets claimed, I think it's a good thing because he's overpaid and they have him for another year and he's 28 years old and is probably not going to factor into the future.
Yes.
That's my view of the situation. The Flyers' view of the situation, however, seems to be it would be bad if he was claimed, and that's why he is still here.
All right.
Just saying.
Before we go any further, I got to tell you about the post-game presenting sponsor. It is Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Listen, we went 1 for 2 tonight. We got our dad strength goal from Coots.
Yeah.
Sure did.
But Michkov only 2 shots on goal.
That was real close.
Does not go over the 2.5. Maybe if he played more than 10 minutes to 11:27, we could have beat that. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I've been placing all my bets this season with Bet365. I'm a big fan of their in-game betting options, the early payouts, all of that stuff. You got to check out Bet365. So download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. While we're here, you know what time it is. 1-800-588-2300-EMPIRE.
Today.
With Empire Today, you can shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and that price match guarantee. Been telling you for a year now. Empire, you know it's the #1 place to get that new flooring. It's because their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes, because Empire's product team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect styles. You can see them all in the virtual floor designer. Just snap a picture, instantly see how new floors will look in your room. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHLY for details. I was I thought we were going to commercial because I heard the NBC post games on and I heard the bum 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 bum. I was like, oh, is that my? Oh no, that's a different show.
It's a different show.
I am on it. I was just very confused, but now we are back. Thanks again to our friends at Rite Aid for helping us put together Festivus. Excellent party tonight, despite the result of the game.
Those dang Flyers.
Let's talk about Matvei now.
Matvei.
11-27 tonight. This is now, 6 straight games without a point. I'm looking at this. This is just the right time for the Christmas break.
Yeah.
They don't play again until Saturday, and you can join us at Heroes in Glen Mills, PA, Bar and Grill. Watch party starting at 4 o'clock. Cutter v. Michkov, hopefully. Hopefully, after 11-27 of ice time tonight.
Oh boy.
But we're going to be there. $4 Coors Light draft. Going to be a great time. Heroes in Glen Mills. They don't play for 4 days. It's a grind. We've talked about how teams are definitely keying in on taking away his time and space, being physical with him. It's a long freaking season. He's never played, he's already approaching his career high in games played, Yeah. And this is the NHL. Do you think it's all that? It's just rookies have slumps? What are you seeing out of Michkov right now? Because I no longer think he's... you see the ice time tonight. I don't think it's a result of, he made X, Y, and Z mistakes.
No.
But it's just you're not doing that much.
Yeah, I have that disease where you can't remember people's names after they tell you. So I was talking with a woman here that was at the party tonight about Michkov, and we were talking about how it's not even just that he's not getting on the score sheet, because there have been times where he's slumped as far as getting points, but you heard his name during the broadcast. You saw him trying to set stuff up. He was making things happen on the ice, and maybe other guys just weren't finishing. Now it's nothing really happening.
I made the joke a few weeks ago that there were times where I wish the NBA tracks potential assists. It's like a thing in betting. So it's I'm going to bet his assists over because if someone just hits a shot, he'll go over every game. It's Michkov was getting a bunch of those potential assists and maybe just a shot off the pipe, whatever. He was close to scoring, close to setting up goals, but he just wasn't. It was all right, that's a mini slump, but he'd still get a couple here and there.
Right.
Now, it's not looking as effective, not looking as dynamic as he did just a couple of weeks ago.
Can I say something? I told you so.
Oh,
I told you guys this was going to happen. Remember a month ago when Connor Bedard was struggling, and I was like,
yeah, but he sucks.
I was like, guys, this is going to happen to Michkov, and you guys need to be ready that at some point he's going to struggle a little bit, and you need to take a step back and be if Connor Bedard, the phenom, the next McDavid, the next great player, can struggle for a few weeks, Michkov is going to happen to him too. And you guys are no, it'll never happen. Well, it's happening, guys. And you know what? There is zero reason to worry. The fact that people are worried about this is bonkers to me. He will be fine. He will be freaking fine.
Yeah.
He is a really, really talented 20-year-old player who is still trying to figure out everything he can do in the NHL. There were always going to be some downslopes.
Yeah.
He's not perfect.
No.
He is not the perfect player, greatest player of all time. He's not. He's really good, and he's probably going to be a superstar. But this never involved him not going to have slumps in his rookie year as a teenager / 20-year-old. This was always going to happen.
I was certainly understood that this would happen at some point because, what did Bedard win Rookie of the Year with? 60 points last year?
He missed the time.
Yeah.
It was close to point per game, right?
A point per game rookie is a rarity.
Yeah, it happens, but
you
it's
can
rare.
Be even if you're in
and he still might be point per game.
He could even if
He's
you're
not that far behind it.
No, he isn't. Even if you're at 3/4 of a point, that's real good for
Yeah,
that's good stuff. It's just now I'm looking for, because I saw how good he is. How can we? It seems. Yes, he just needs to play better, and he will, because this is what happens to all players, especially rookies. But it's kind of just, this shows that we don't have that center. This shows that we don't have that piece to help him be the best he can be.
which we knew.
But it's just kind of putting more emphasis on the fact that Briere needs to really target that guy. And whether it's
he does.
moving on from one of these wingers, moving on from Morgan Frost, from some of these draft picks coming up, whatever it is to get that guy. Now, can they do it in December? Can they even do it at the freaking trade deadline? I doubt it. But it needs to be the priority because we've seen how good this guy is without that dude to help him. In order for him to reach his full potential, even while he's developing, we do need that guy.
But I also don't want to let him off the hook.
No.
Like we can't just the discourse around Michkov can't be when he's playing well, he's the perfect angel, and when he's playing poorly, it's everyone else's fault because there's not enough talent around.
Charles.
No, he's playing poorly right now. He's not playing well. And that's part of the process. He is going to go through dips where it's not that he doesn't have a center. It's not that he's not getting any help. It's just that he is not playing that well. And that's fine. Because I have full confidence after watching him play the first 2 months of the year that he is going to get back going again because he's a really freaking good hockey player.
And I think, like, there are going to be these times. Even when he's, like, in 5 years and hopefully a perennial all-star, top 10 Hart vote guy every year, like when and if that comes to fruition, there will still be 6-game skids where he isn't that great.
Hopefully not that many, but there will be some.
It will happen once a season.
Happen a couple times.
It'll
maybe
happen a few times.
Maybe once or twice in like 10 years.
Hopefully. Like,
that sounds about right.
We still need to be able to get something out of him in those slumps. And that's where another dude to play off of comes in.
It would help.
You can still get a point here or there on the power play, whatever it might be. Help the team win a 1-goal game rather than lose a 1-goal game because he has that dude to play give and go with or whatever it might be.
I guess where I'm coming from is the Flyers need more talent because they need more talent. They don't need more talent because they need to get Michkov help. Like, that's a byproduct of getting more talent.
Yes.
You get more talent, Michkov's going to have more help. They just need more talent, period.
Absolutely. Where is this season going now?
Good question.
They are now, in their last 10 games, they are 3-6-1. This was their 10th game of December. So in the month of December, which is really where they started to get going last year, like, this was the time.
Yeah, it was.
Without the goaltending, without point-per-game Michkov, and without the effective 3D pairs that we talked about, like, all of November and the beginning of this month, like, what the hell is this team? Do you think they can stay in the playoff race as currently constructed?
I was just going to ask, Charlie, because you were uncharacteristically positive about the Flyers making the playoffs. Are you still feeling like they make the playoffs?
Well, given that one of the 3 reasons why I was uncharacteristically positive is now toiling down in Allentown, no, I'm not quite as positive because that was a big part of it, was that you solve the second pair. You have a play-driving second pair. Now you don't. Because for some reason you decided that Emil Andrae isn't that good, I guess. Yeah, I am significantly less optimistic because they demoted Emil Andrae. I am.
So I understand that you have a difficult job that requires a lot of balance as far as the way you approach things with the people that work for the Philadelphia Flyers. But I really do hope that you and your colleagues continue to press this Emil Andrae thing because it makes no sense, and they haven't given an answer that makes sense.
Well, their answer is, we don't think he's playing that well, and then we're like, yeah, but look at the numbers, and they say, well, we don't care, we know hockey.
How about look at the teams, the results on the ice since you've sent him away?
It's a reasonable point.
Yeah, that's another
Have
loss
we considered
tonight.
those? Yeah.
And Charlie's been like keeping you updated what the team does with and without him. Like, listen, it's not a 1-to-1 thing, but when you see a dude and it's like, yeah, they have like an 800 points percentage with him and they're sub 500 without him.
Yeah, when he's in the lineup, they win. When he's not in the lineup, they lose. And they purposely removed him from the lineup.
The unspoken answer to me is, I mean, like they think this is best for his development. So much like trading Sean Walker last year, they just don't care. They don't care if this tanks their playoff chances. They don't care what sort of after effects it has. They think he's best served playing in the AHL. And if that's what's best for him, and that means the team 3, 4, 5 years from now, that's what they're going to do. And while that is very frustrating, because selfishly, we have to watch these games, and he's one of the guys that's interesting to watch play.
It's fun to watch. He does stuff. And it's mostly good stuff.
It's kind of what we demand of them, is do the stuff that we think is good for them in the future, even if it hurts you today.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, if you're going to do that, then do it all. If you're gonna send Emil Andrae down, like the Walker thing was a separate thing because you have to make a decision.
That makes sense.
You have to make a decision. His contract's up at the end of the year. Either you re-sign him, you let him leave for nothing, or you get something back for him. They got something back for him. That made sense to me as a we're rebuilding, but we're not tanking move. This move is one of those where it's like, well, if like this was, the only way this move is acceptable to me is if this is purely a tanking move. But the problem is that if this is purely a tanking move, then go full tank. And they're not going full tank. So if they're not going to go full tank, then I have to believe this wasn't a tanking move. This was we actually didn't think he was playing that well and we're sending him down. And the thing I disagree with is that I think they were wrong.
Yes.
And he was actually playing pretty well
Yes.
and didn't deserve to be sent down.
That's the problem that it has. It's like, it's a bigger thing than Emil Andrae. It's that you looked at your team.
Yes.
And you decided that it was worse with this player in the lineup
Yes.
than it was without him. And I don't know how, either through numbers, public or private, or your eyeballs, you could come to that conclusion.
It's a player evaluation.
Listen, I'd rather Emil Andrae be here, and I think looking at this defense and going, he's not one of our 6 best, is a ridiculous outcome. Like, that's a ridiculous evaluation.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if it's, he's getting by on certain things, and listen, he started out, it was great. When they started using him as a second pair defenseman, he was killing it. There was a drop-off.
There was.
And if they believe that's going to
Wasn't
lead
showing
to
up in the numbers,
him
but there was.
developing some habits that they don't like, and it would bear out in the long term, I can't be upset about that decision, even if it hurts the right now.
But there are other players, like Sam Ersson.
But they're not worried about his development.
Why can't he learn this in the NHL? Like, okay, fine.
Because they think that might have ruined Jamie Drysdale.
Okay, well then talk to Jamie Drysdale and get him a conditioning stint and send him down to the AHL.
Yeah, right.
Because he's one of those guys who is making so many mistakes that, number one, he's actively leading to losses, and number two, at least for the last 3 games, like, maybe he would be better served in the AHL right now.
If they could get Jamie Drysdale through waivers, they probably would send him to the AHL.
Stint.
Unfortunately,
he has to accept it.
There's never been...
You make him do that.
You can't.
You can.
Not really.
John Tortorella seems like he can be very convincing.
I mean...
There's a thing Jeff Marek has been saying that I've come to agree with, even though, it sucks for us as people watching the games. No one was ever hurt by too much AHL time. There are guys who got too much NHL time right away, and it hurt their development. If you're going to make it, though, the AHL ain't going to kill you. I don't think it's going to hurt.
I agree.
It sucks right now.
I don't think it's going to hurt him either. I don't think it is going to...
No, it's hurting us.
I don't think it's going to destroy his development. I don't think it's going to destroy... However, I also believe... I don't think he's going to be a worse player 3 years from now because he spent a few extra years down in the minors. The comparison I'll make is Travis Sanheim. Similar situation in 2017, 2018, where really good by the numbers, made some big mistakes. They sent him down. We ripped him for it on BSH radio. He came back up, played well at the end of the year. I don't think it's going to make or break his career. However, I do believe this. I believe that there are things that he has to learn that he's only going to learn in the NHL. That being good in rush coverage against AHLers is not necessarily going to make it so he's immediately good in rush coverage against NHLers, because guess what? They're bigger, faster, and way more talented. I would rather him be up here making the kinds of mistakes that led to the Anze Kopitar goal against LA this past week, rather than dominating in the AHL and then coming back up and having to relearn the fact that, there's a future Hall of Famer. I need to be better. I need to be better focused. I need to be better in the moment to prepare for him coming down the ice, as opposed to getting better at it against AHLers. I think there are things he's only going to learn in the NHL. And do I think he'll learn it just as well at age 24 as he would at age 22? Yeah, I do. But you're just putting it off needlessly.
I think there is something to, while he can't we've said forever, the best way to learn to play in the NHL is playing in the NHL. I fully believe that. There are elements of the preparation process, like learning to be a pro, all that stuff that you can learn in the AHL, and then when you take it to the NHL, you're better prepared to be able to apply it all. And maybe that's the issue. Like, he's not able to apply, like, they watch the video, they tell him what to do, and then for whatever reason, it's like, oh yeah, and you still got burned by Kopitar.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
When the Flyers are collecting 60% of the expected goals, shots on goal, and actual goals when a guy's on the ice, it's really hard for me to accept that he's overmatched at the NHL level.
I don't even think it's an overmatched issue like it was last year.
Well, if he's not overmatched, then let him learn here. The only reason I would give to sending a guy down is exactly what we saw last year with him, which is he's clearly overmatched. He can't learn on the fly because he just can't hang. The numbers tell me he can hang. So if he can hang, then let him hang here and learn that here rather than sending him down for reasons.
I just think there are certain reasons that are valid that we just can't know.
I'm sure they have more information about it than we do. I do not doubt that.
I hate that argument. I know they have different statistics than the ones that we see on Natural Stat Trick or whatever, but we all have friggin' eyeballs.
This isn't a statistical thing. It's about learning and who you are as a professional.
Like,
and
he doesn't carry his bag properly. He didn't put his skates on right.
It's how you handle practice. It's how you act. It's how you act in the locker room and carry yourself. There's millions of things beyond just the stuff that happens when you're on the ice that leads to your eventual success. Because let's be honest, it's not as if he was setting the world on fire. He looked good.
Yeah.
He looked very good. What do you have, 4 points?
He wasn't
Gostisbehere. Better. The team was better.
But they have told us they don't care about winning and losing this year. Repeatedly. They don't care. If they did, like, they trade for a goalie right now. I mean, like, not right now, but on the 28th or something. You know,
not right now.
They go get a goalie who has a better than .850 save percentage, because right now they don't have one.
I don't think this is hurting Andrae. I have trouble imagining a world where this is dramatically helping him either. I have trouble with it because
I doubt it's dramatically helping.
I don't know what he's going to learn in the AHL at this point that he wouldn't be able to learn quicker and faster in the NHL, facing off against the actual level of players he's going to need to thrive against if he's going to make it work long term.
I just think you are seriously underestimating the developmental capabilities of Ivan Laperriere.
Oh my God! Like, do we need to get started on that?
Amazing.
Check the Phantom score tonight. It was very similar.
After the holidays, we're going to have Maddie Campbell on.
Hey.
We're going to talk some Phantoms at some point, and that will absolutely be a discussion.
Outstanding.
But while I don't believe in Laperriere, I do believe in Jason Smith. You know, I like him.
You like him?
Right. Before we go any further, maybe we all just need to choose to chill.
You think?
This team... Oh, wait, yeah. This team, they drive us a little nuts. You know that. It happens. We get fired up talking about them even after all these years. That's why sometimes even I just need to choose to chill, and there's no better way to chill than with an ice-cold Coors Light. So whether you're freaking out about who's in the minors and who's in the pros, the goaltenders, I don't know, maybe the draft lottery down the line. Maybe we start doing Tankathon again. You need to find the Blue Mountains in your fridge and enjoy a beer as cold as the Rockies, because when everything surrounding your favorite hockey team is on fire, sometimes you just got to chill. Make the most of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door, or find a store near you by going to CoorsLight.com/PHLY Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. While we're here, is this? Yeah, I had it right. Yep. Rite Aid.
Hey.
Rite Aid is our sponsor here at Festivus tonight. They helped us put it all together. Very much appreciate Rite Aid, and what they want to do is help you stay healthy through these holidays and into the winter, and come out on top. Maybe go to the playoffs with the Flyers, because you got all your vaccines, including your pneumonia vaccine. Adults age 50 and older now eligible for the pneumonia vaccine. Millions of people get it every year. It's a respiratory illness. Pneumonia is. Fall and winter are a time when germs that cause respiratory disease spread more in the community. So now is the time to get vaccinated. Some people, you have mild symptoms, not that big a deal. Other people who get pneumonia experience very serious complications. The vaccine is one of the best ways to keep yourself healthy. Getting vaccinated is easy. Just walk into your local Rite Aid or schedule online at riteaid.com. Unsure of what vaccines you may need? Just ask your pharmacist for a personal recommendation. Stop by your local Rite Aid today. And thank you, Rite Aid, for helping sponsor Festivus for us here at Xfinity Live.
Yeah.
All right. One positive I would like to take from this one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Another strong game from the Cates line.
Yo,
Cates,
Noah Cates
not
is
wrong.
on
Cates
one.
now has a goal in 4 straight. I believe Bobby Brink picked up an assist
It's a
in
really
this
good
one.
pass by Brink, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Forster has been producing well, that whole line. It's as they shuffle things around. I think Farabee got demoted tonight, and they moved some guys.
Farabee
that
did, yeah.
line stays intact.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about Cates specifically right now because I think we all know Forster is a part of the future. Like, he came up apparently in the Columbus talks for Jiricek, and they were like, nah, Forster ain't on the table. Start again. Okay, we know what we think of him. Noah Cates we know they like, but it's also not as if, oh, yeah, he's certainly a part of it. I mean, he spent a lot of time on the 4th line last year. He sat for Jet Luchenko to start this season some. Do you see what he's doing right now as just a hot streak, or maybe you're rethinking what he can be? Because to me, he's just one of 3 guys that I don't understand why we need all 3. Lawton, Paling, Cates.
Well, I don't think we need all 3 of
I
those.
don't,
But I
but
don't
maybe-
think Cates is the one that you're dropping out of those 3.
And to me, though, he was the one that made the most sense to move on from because of value and role here.
I want to know what Charlie thinks. 'Cause I know he's been high on Cates forever.
Yeah, I am high on Cates. And my view of Noah Cates throughout all of this, still this, is I never understood the rush to move on from him because he was never going to be a guy who was ever going to bring you back much. Like, yeah, if he keeps scoring at the rate he scored on for the last 4 games, yeah, that'll be a real valuable player. It'll be a freaking 82 goal scorer. We all know that's not going to happen. I think he tops out at being somewhere in the like 30 to 40 point per year range. And I don't even know if he's going to get there, but I think that's his ceiling. That is my view of his ceiling. He's a really, really good play driver. He's really good with the details. He's fantastic defensively, and he's graded out defensively for long enough that I believe it's real. I don't believe it's a statistical quirk. I get supported in that belief by the fact that every hockey person I talk to who is purely X's and O's, who doesn't even look at the numbers, says, this dude's incredible defensively, does everything right. John Tortorella swears by the guy, says, you know, he's one of his most reliable players.
Mini Coots, right?
Mini Coots, they call him Coots Jr. This is not a player type that is going to bring back a lot of trade. It never has been. So why get rid of him? Yeah. And I don't even agree with the idea that you need, you know, it's like him, Paling, and Lawton. Lawton is clearly here to be the locker room guy who also is like provides some decent value on the ice. Paling is what he is. He's a really good 4C. He brings speed. He's a good penalty killer. Cates could be a third liner. He could be a third line piece, whether it's, you know, if you want to, and the good thing about him too is that he can do multiple things. If you want to have a defensively oriented third line, he can play center. If you wanted to be the support piece on a more scoring-oriented third line, that you want to give some play-driving punch and make sure they don't get bulldozed defensively, put him on the wing. I think Cates absolutely can exist in a world where Paling and Lawton are on the team. If you are in a world where Lawton plays on the team until he's 36 and Paling is just the much faster Blair Betts for a new generation, I do not think that Noah Cates is redundant because I think Noah Cates is a way better defensive player than both of them. And he can score in theory. In theory, he can score enough to be not out of place on a third line.
That's why I kind of think this is real because, yeah, we saw him put up those 38 points a couple of years ago, and it's like, well, yeah, he was the de facto 1C. Everyone scores a little when you're playing, was it almost 18 minutes a night?
Yeah. He's going to rack up some points
that's
just
not,
from sheer
just
volume.
from being out there.
Yeah.
Probably not what he is. Like, yeah, he's probably not a top 6 forward. No shit. I think, though, he has consistency for the first time in a while.
I agree with that.
Because last year, he's on the 4th line. He gets hurt early. They kept saying he basically has to start his season over when he came back from what was a pretty decent amount of time out from injury. And he ends up scoring 6 goals in 59 games.
Wasn't good.
Tonight, he scored goal number 6 in game number 31 for him.
He's got to score a little.
He has to score.
That's the thing.
And you put him in a situation this year, at least over the last few weeks, and it's really working out, with 2 guys who can theoretically score. Like, Bobby Brink has playmaking tendencies. Tyson Forster has a nose for the net.
Yeah.
I love
Are they first-line players? Not right now, at least. Tyson Forster maybe one day.
Maybe.
But, maybe one day. I don't know. But they, in their role, have been and can put up points, and you put Noah Cates in that situation. I'm coming around on him as maybe being an actual 3C, whereas that wasn't really part of my thought process coming into the year, because last year I just didn't see it. But I am willing to go, and he played a lot of minutes with Nick Delorier last year.
Yeah.
He did. I don't really know what I expected.
Yeah.
If, it's him and Hathaway, so 2 guys who never score.
Yeah.
And they're playing 9 minutes a game. Oh, wow, yeah, he didn't put up numbers. Of course he didn't. And maybe now in this role, he's got to continue it. It's been a few weeks and it's looked good. But I'm starting to open up to the possibility that he's more than just a swing bottom 6 guy. He could actually be an integral part.
I guess my thing is that even if he is just a swing bottom 6 guy,
you need those.
He's a guy who can be on my team any day because he drives play, he's great defensively, he can play both the wing and the center. He's versatile, and he's a good player who it's hard for me to envision a world where you're going to be able to trade him and get anything more than a 4th-round pick. So at that point, why not just keep him? He's a good player. Keep good players. They don't all have to be top 6ers. Some of them can be good bottom 6ers.
No, and if Brink and Cates are the foundation of a 3rd line long-term for this team, the way they look right now, I'm very happy with that. That's a solid 3rd line.
All right, we have about 5 minutes left. So, Charlie, I want to bang out 3 stars and then do super chats.
Sounds good.
Hit us with star number 3.
Star number 3 actually is the guy we were just talking about. Noah Cates.
Hey.
4 straight games with a goal. Another strong game for Mr. Noah Cates. I've liked what I've seen from him. The underlying numbers remain great. Now the point production is coming around. Do I expect him to keep this up long term? No. I don't think he's going to keep scoring like this. But at least he's showing that the offense isn't completely absent from his game. And if he can be a guy, as I said, who can be, over 30 points per year, getting 13, 14 minutes a night, more than your average 4th liner, but he can play on the 4th line if you need him to. As I said, he can be on my team any day. He's one of the Flyers' most consistent players during this little slump they're in. Noah Cates, clear-cut 3rd star.
Star number 2.
Star number 2, let's go with one Michael Bunting. Got the big goal that really destroyed the Flyers. It was that one near the end of the 2nd period. We talked about Sam Ersson. Look, Ersson needs to make that save. He does. It's not an unstoppable shot. I don't know if I would say it is an awful goal, but it's not a good goal. And given the situation, you're down 1 goal, but you're about to go in intermission with all the momentum. You need to get out of that period only down a goal. Instead, it's 5-3. Functionally, the game is over, as we saw. But as much as you're going to criticize Ersson, the guy shooting the puck still had to make a real good shot. And Michael Bunting made a real good shot. He has a real good game. He's 2nd star.
Star number 1.
You know who it is, Phil.
Sean Couturier, congratulations.
Hey!
Dad strength Sean Couturier with his goal tonight. Appreciate it. Effing Sidney Crosby.
No, it's Sidney Crosby.
A goal. He scores the game-icing empty netter. 3 assists in the 1st period.
Yep.
F that guy.
Yep.
All right, let's hit those super chats.
Super chats.
All right, we have this first one. Oh, right, I have them in front of me. Okay.
God bless.
From Adam B. The team's defense and goaltending are abysmal. The coaching seems putrid to me, too. Matvei Michkov for Calder, slipping away quickly to Celebrini. Sigh.
I would say this is a great Festivus
Yeah.
super chat.
Listen,
the grievances are being
Those
aired.
are grievances.
I
It's
think
true.
Serious grievances.
I think some elements of the coaching could improve.
I would agree.
The offense.
In terms of Michkov for Calder, when he has 6 points in 2 games, and we're
he
right
can come
back.
right back.
We're
Exactly.
right back in it. He's
I'm not ready
really
to let
good.
that die yet.
We'll see how it goes, but it's a bummer because the point of this season is let's get our first
Let's
ever
get a
Calder.
Calder, man.
I do give the Flyers credit for finding a way for us to spend an hour on postgame and not talk about the power play, just never get a power play.
They didn't get a power play.
Never get a power play.
All right,
we didn't complain about it.
Yeah,
never got a power play.
Let's hit this next one here from our friend Gary B. Well, my parlay was off tonight. Only leg hit was Crosby.
Way she goes, Gare.
Yeah. You know, that's why you got to bet him standalone.
Should have just bet Crosby.
Yeah, honestly. We got our Coots. We got our Coots anytime.
We did.
That was nice. All right, this next one here from R. Park. Fedotov is getting paid NHL money. Flyers committed Ivan at the end of last season. Feddy needs time to adjust from the KHL to NHL. The goaltending was better with Fedotov and Kolosov. Thanks, Charlie, for asking Torts.
He's not wrong.
He also just doesn't factor into the future, which I like. As much as I'm like, get him into a game and just see, because maybe you can trade him at some point. It's also like, yeah, he's 28. Who cares? I think that's how they're looking at it too.
It's a harsh way to put it, but I do think it's the right way. Best case scenarios, you were going to get 4 real good years out of the late blooming Igor Shesterkin. I don't think he's that.
I don't either. This next one here from Michael Kowalczyk. On the bright side, with no power plays, they can't suck if it ever happens. Should Rocky have challenged Bradshaw or Dillabaugh to a fight in the locker room?
Yes.
I would like to see it.
So would I.
I don't want to see that.
I would like to see the coaches fight. I think that would be fun.
You would like to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Bradshaw looks like a soft man. I don't know if he can throw a punch.
I just want to see if Torts is as tough as he seems.
No, he's definitely not.
Can he go?
No.
I wonder.
Rocky's got a pretty big size.
Rocky's a big guy.
He's a big guy.
He can go.
Yeah.
Rocky would beat all of them up. Brad looks a little too soft. He seems like a sweet boy.
Brad's pretty tall, but he does.
But he's got a soft vibe.
He has like librarian look to him.
Yes, he doesn't look like he can
he's
throw him.
secretly a tough dude.
I have no idea what Kim Dillabaugh looks like.
Yeah, couldn't pick him out of a lineup if he gave me $1 million.
Guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what half the players look like.
I do really like
every
people.
time I'm like, oh, that's what Ryan Paley looks like.
If they're not in their jersey, I really don't know.
I have no idea.
I'm not big with faces.
No.
All right, we have another one from R. Park. Are we still paying Brizgalov?
They sure
Yes,
are.
we
so,
are.
can we bring him back?
2027. The post is scheduled, baby.
I can't. It's like it's gonna
Shut
be
the
my
blog
favorite
down the
thing.
day after.
Yeah, just close up shop.
We had a
Close up
good run.
Was it Travis?
Travis
Hughes, who now works for NBC Sports.
He does.
He was the original blog lord of.
He was the original Broad Street
He wrote we're finally done paying Briz. Like the buyout is complete.
Yep.
And it's been scheduled for like
June
3 different hosts and owners, and like it's getting published one day.
Oh, it will be.
And I believe we have one more here from JH. Blurg and or Boo. Is it worth going back and watching, or I can safely skip?
You can skip.
Second period might be worth it. There were some good moments in the second, but just stop with like 2 minutes left so you don't have to watch the goal.
You're all good. No. Don't waste your time. There's so many good things to watch.
All set.
Red One is free on Amazon Prime. Check it out.
Good?
It's a masterpiece.
It's Bill Matt's good.
The Rock saves Christmas. What else do you want?
I know, but Bill Matt's good is like
what Kelly likes.
Extremely my stuff. So maybe I need to watch Red One.
All right. Before we wrap up tonight, I want to thank those of you watching on TV. Very much appreciate all of you. Check out allphly.com for all of our shows, not just this one. All of them. And check out that schedule there. I haven't posted it on Twitter yet. What's left of the show is not much. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Oh, what's up?
We got a pair of tickets left for the suite.
Oh, we do. We do have one pair of tickets. There are 2 tickets remaining for the suite takeover.
Come on out.
On Saturday, the Flyers play the Ducks in Anaheim.
We're getting there. It's only in a couple weeks.
We get Cutter v. Michkov 2 on Saturday, July 11th. 2 tickets to the suite remaining, so go to allphly.com, click that events tab, and get them right now. You don't want to miss this. Food and drinks all night. The 3 of us hanging out. It's going to be a great time.
Sure is.
Come on out, allphly.com, events tab.
You get to see if you can make it to the ice from the suite level with whatever they give us at the game. Can you throw it far enough to hit the ice
Kelly.
from the suite?
We're going to get blamed for
this.
This is the challenge.
Do not encourage this.
Wink, wink.
Also, in fairness, if the Flyers give out bracelets for the Cutter Go-To game, they kind of deserve what they get.
They encouraged it if they were to do that.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
All right. This has been the PHLY Flyers postgame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We are off with the team for the next couple of days, but we will be with you for that watch party at Glen Mills Heroes on Saturday. So come on out for that pre and post game. We're going to be hanging out there. Come on out, $4 Coors Light drafts.
There we go.
That's the next time we will all be together.
Happy
Until
holidays
then,
for whatever you celebrate, and if you celebrate nothing, hopefully you got some time off.
Yeah.
Get drunk and stoned with your friends and family. That's what is Christmas. My name is Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. That's Kelly Hinkle. Thanks to everyone at Xfinity. Thanks to Brenna for coming out, setting this all up. Thanks to Rite Aid. Love you. Merry Christmas. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.